You did a very nice job. Danny,
Yeah. Not quite yet. I just assumed you would be just I do all my best to get to San Luis.
South of town, next to the credit union, it's the middle. And then it's
okay, so we'll talk about the orders.
Congratulations to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Baker. Schwartz. Rawl. Hanson. Erickson.
Here.
Bose.
Here.
Lauer. Hutchin. Tiller. Wolf. Mullard.
Here.
Moretti. Francis. Young.
Here.
Thomas.
Knowledge that the meeting was properly moved and posted.
I certify votes.
Okay, number 5, approve the agenda, and before somebody does, I'd like to strike number 9, like for the agenda. The reason being is I had a department head meeting 12 hours after the last county board meeting, and we talked about the office moves and stuff. It was a big part of our department head meeting, and there was some, I told them all. I came back in the afternoon, split it up. finance director and the personnel moves made it two different things. Told all the department heads to go and come up with their own ideas. They felt like they weren't part of it, so they came up. You have them in your packet, but you just got them. That's not fair to use and stuff, so I want to strike it from it regardless of what we do. Number 8, I think number 9, we should sit down. Some of them are good ideas. We might use one part of one and part of the other, and we have to see about the technical side of it and everything. I just want it struck. We have time to deal with it.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda work and remove item number 9.
All in favor?
I have a question.
Yeah,
Can we still speak on that? We're
in
gonna-
public comment if you want. You know, public comment. Oh. Yep. Okay, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Number 6, approve the minutes of September 30th. There again, before you approve them, and that was Kristen Friday. I wanted them in here. Kristen said, no, if I put them in the minutes and today, she wouldn't have time to put everything in them. She said, well, if it's on the tape and it's on the TV. I said, yeah, I thought about it over the weekend and I thought about it today when I was sandblasting that cannon. And I said, you know something, a lot of you spoke. You want it on the public record. You would want it. Some of the board members want it on the public record. We don't approve these minutes and we'll approve them at the end of the month board meeting. So do. Okay. Number 7, public comment. Straight public comment.
I got something.
Okay, Paul.
Mine's on number 9. I didn't come across it.
Okay.
Okay, last meeting, I talked about moving people around with new spaces and hire a financial manager. Now I want to talk about the office for it. The senior center has 3 offices that are empty. Why not use one of them or 2 of them instead of remodeling someplace else? The clerk and deputy clerk should not be separated. The deputy goes in when the clerk is off. Extension should not be separated. Veteran service to move upstairs. No reason that I can think of. Emergency government to move to the highway. I don't know why. Nice offices. Also, the remodeling that needs to be done doesn't meet all the codes. Fire department codes, city codes, stuff like that. And in the department meeting that was held last week, had many talk against this issue. I did not attend. Maybe someone here can comment. That's what I have.
Okay, I guess I'll comment a little bit on that for you, Paul. When we decided a couple months ago, we might hire a financial director, I told her at a department head meeting that it might be some. Until I wrote it down on a piece of paper and everybody actually physically had it in their hand, no one was really believing me. And I did that. When I did it, I told you all last week, hey, I'm throwing this out there now, it's real. It's real, it's funny.
This was given to me 2 minutes before the meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
So I couldn't talk.
And it was just, I had to write it down on the paper, so you said something that, like, you know, it's actually happening. And believe me, 12 hours later, it was really happening because we were discussing it in the department. I guess it never hit everybody until I had it in front of them. So that's why you had that. I knew it was going to be perfect, but it was a start, and I knew there would be some stuff. So that's all I have to say on that. Any other public comment?
Just a question. On the arrangement of these offices, you said between $10,000 and $12,000. Did you get any quotes on that? Or-
No, that was just ballpark from Bill. That's why there's a whole lot of stuff.
So Bill gave you an estimate on that?
He said ballpark. He said don't hold him to it. Maybe, any other public comment? If you had.
I just have concerns about this finance director position. I kind of went back and did a little research on what the board was trying to do or been doing for the past year or so. Looked up what was supposed to be the county manager position, which I believe is the gentleman up there. That was supposed to include finances. I think a 5 bachelor's degree was required. He got hired. Clearly not able to do the job that he was hired to do. So now the solution is to come up with another position at the tune of $100,000 that this county does not have. You're spending money we don't have. While saying we're in financial despair. And there's a lot in the budget. I don't think the board really can make. The county clerk is an elected position. We have the right to appoint a deputy. I don't know if the board really has the right to change all that. Yes, we'll see. I'm against a lot of things, but we'll see how this might help.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
Does anybody that's being hired know how to write grants for the county?
I could say something that's right in the resume.
Well, it should be a requirement.
Mhm.
This county is not flush with money.
Agree.
I think it was for the county manager.
And Jacob,
Yeah, I used to write grants, several grants a year for the Wisconsin Department of Transportation, for State Patrol. I wrote the annual Border Carrier Safety Assistance Program grants.
But how successful were you?
I receive grants every year.
100%?
Yep. I also tracked all the finances on the back end and reported out to the feds. It was mostly Federal Border Carrier Safety Administration.
If you can do finance, then why would you hire a finance director?
So my level of accounting does not meet what I would consider this county needs.
But that was in the job description.
And I said that during my interview.
For the position that you got hired for, the experience was supposed to be there.
And I have accounting experience, but I don't have a CPA. And I think what this county really needs is somebody who has very high level. So I managed accountants as well as at the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. I managed a $1.4 billion revenue
So what was the point of
reconciliation.
your position then? Sorry, I mean, what benefit are you bringing to your county?
This is not a Q&A. Point of order.
Okay. We go to any other public comments? Okay, we've done. Number 8, discussion, action on the resolution 2020-4033, hiring a finance director. Before we get into that action on this, I think that it's a very important thing and I want to discuss it. Some of you called me this week, had questions. I answered them as best I could. Some of you want to ask questions in here. And I feel that we should. So I'd like to, I'll go at the end, but I'll start with you, Kurt.
A couple of things to follow up from last week. So, last week there were several remarks made during public comment. I shared a different viewpoint on many of the remarks, but I think one should be clarified. In public comment, or maybe it was quoted in the paper, Kristen said no one from the board approached her on the changes. And Murph, I think you had conversations with Kristen, didn't you?
I did. I had a couple.
In February of 2024, the board gave me and I accepted the assignment to fix the county budget. I won't rehash the details of the county's 8-year, $5 million general cash fund decline, or how the 2023 and 24 budgets were plugged with one-time dollars. I will just reiterate what Claire told Murph in April of 2024. Without change, the county had about 18 months of cash on hand before it became insolvent. 18 months from April of 2024 is today. Imagine if no changes were made. When I began my work in February of 24, I met with every department head to understand their operations, discuss their budget. Without exception, every department had a solid grasp of their respective department budget. As I've said before, most everything the county does operationally is very, very good. But when it came to issues of financing the county government as a whole, how the problems and challenges of the county as a whole were shaped or defined, what the financial projections showed for the next 3 to 5 years, what the financial statements were saying, there was nowhere to turn. For the most part, that information did not exist. Although I was never officially given the title, for the last 20 months, I have essentially served as Iron County's finance director. Roxanne certainly played that lead role during the first half of this year, a role I am very grateful that you are willing to take on. But even during that time, I was providing background financial financial support. Almost every task, analysis, schedule, report I completed over the last 20 months were duties normally performed by the finance director. They were not duties associated with a board member or a finance committee chair. Roxanne and I and Murph too have been buried pretty deep in the details, too deep in the weeds, if you will. In our efforts to find a permanent solution to the county's financial crisis, we needed to understand the detail, and in doing so, played roles that were very atypical for a board member. We did the work because there was no county employee on staff providing the necessary analysis needed at a county-wide level to help us make informed decisions. It's not a criticism of anybody, just the county lacks a formal finance department. For a long time now, both Roxanne and I and other board members as well have been advocating for important organization changes, including the hiring of a county manager and a finance director. Recommendations to formalize a finance department came from past work experience, many conversations with Wisconsin Counties Association, our audit firm of Clifton Larson Allen Consultants, and many of the 9 other chairs, vice chairs, county administrators that make up the 10-county Northwest region. It is very rare, probably unheard of in the business world, whether you're a profit-motivated business or a nonprofit business entity providing government services, not to have credentialed, experienced accounting staff for an 18 million, 90 employee entity. In my view, it is almost taxpayer malpractice not to have a formal finance department, or alternatively, at least someone filling that role. Kristen's public comment, she stated that the change of moving to a formal finance department has become personal to her. That was one of the public comments from last week's meeting I did agree with. But raw emotion doesn't explain why almost every other county in the state of Wisconsin has moved the finance function from the clerk's office to a separate office. You have to ask yourself, why? Wisconsin Counties Association, CPA firms, consultants, every county administrator in the state recommends a formal finance department staffed by experienced, qualified individuals. The answer to that question isn't complicated. That all being said, I am withdrawing my support for hiring a finance director at this time. Murph shared with me an employee comment made at last Wednesday's department head meeting. The atmosphere in parts of the lower courthouse is toxic. I imagine that may be the case. Frankly, any worthwhile candidate interested in the finance director position that watched the meeting online or read the angle of the story portrayed in the print and social media would reconsider it. It's unfortunate, but in my opinion, the reality of this current environment isn't conducive to hiring a position. So I think what we should do is take time to understand and consider the alternative option. Those who spoke last week were passionate about their idea and their position. As I mentioned last week, I am no longer able, nor am I willing, to continue serving and performing finance director duties of the county. I am certainly available for a transition period as we move away from me being the finance director to the alternative options supported by Kristen, Clara, Supervisor Muller, and others that spoke last week. To begin that transition, I think 4 things should happen at the finance meeting in 2 weeks. 1, Kristen should provide details of how the alternative options structure will work, including Jay's role in the hiring of a part-time accountant consultant to fill in the technical accounting, forecasting, and analysis gaps. The alternative option might be workable. We should all understand the details. Next 3 items are finance director duties that are time sensitive, so I'm listing them out tonight. I think based on the details provided in the alternative option, Christian should provide recommendations on changes to the 26 budget so they can be summarized and communicated when the board votes on this in the levy in 3 weeks. And I'm available and I can certainly assist and making that happen. Those changes will not be hard to make. It's something that can be done, but we gotta understand what we're doing. 2A is, I'd like Kristen to look at, I wasn't able to finish one thing, the sales tax estimate we're using. Forward Analytics provides sales tax counties for the county each year, and it seems like we're running behind even the 25 estimates. I think we need a summary of that tax revenue to make sure the number I used in the budget is a solid estimate. If not, we should adjust it, and that's not a big project. It's maybe a 1-hour project, but I think we should do that at the 21st meeting. Financial statements. This time of year, all the prior year receivables, payables, under an income prepaid items should be cleared out as we prepare for 2025. The October 21 meeting, we should talk about those balance sheet accounts and discuss what needs to get addressed. We should especially discuss why some asset accounts have negative balances and why some liability accounts have positive balances. I understand this may be an area where we need part-time accountant or outside consultant. Kristen needs to tell us as part of this alternative option plan where we need help, and I think we should go then forward and hire that help. Sorry about that. Number 4 is board, including myself, is going through a process of trying to understand how to implement perhaps parts of the wage study. What a finance director would do is provide the finance committee options, including schedules projecting how those options might address the wage compression, what impact that might have on future budgets. This probably won't get completed in 2 weeks. That's something also that should get addressed. I think the only thing I'm asking in the alternative option is the expectations and the standards that I would have set for hiring a finance director are the same standards and expectations we apply to the alternative option that's being proposed. While we have stabilized county finances compared to where we were 2 years ago, there are several really important issues on the immediate horizon that require attention. So we need to get this right and start working on it. Before I finish, I just wanted to conclude with one other thing. I spent a fair amount of time with Jay during his first 10 weeks. I think he has a lot to offer the county if we give him the right support. He has a diverse fact and interesting work experience. His angle comes from strategic planning, facilitator, problem solving, and especially focusing on technology and making process improvements. It's an area the committee, I think, needs a critical review of, especially to update and modernize technology and to remove accounting redundancies throughout the organization. I think the RT Vision timekeeping software is a great place to start. Mr. Chair, I thank you for all your work too, but I believe we should postpone acting on resolution 2025-2033.
Okay, well, I guess more you think. Tanner, you got anything that, you got a week to think about it. Anything there? You don't have to answer.
We've been talking about this for a while. I think, for one, we need to point out that this has nothing to do with Kristen. This was talked about with Mike Sorry. We've needed a finance director since the last one. This board changes. I'm not going to be here forever. Probably not very long. You're not going to be here for long. You're not going to be here for long. Boards change, clerks change. We need to set this county up for success. We finally have a balanced budget. Kristen has done a lot. We went from a budget written on notebook paper to everything digitalized. And I do want to thank you for everything you've done, but we need to set this county up for success. And we do need a finance director. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. And Roxanne.
I have a unique perspective as a board member. Like Kurt, I'm a CPA. And I spent the first 6 months of 2025 as our temporary county manager. I worked 40 hours a week, sometimes more than 40 hours a week, as a volunteer. And I was blessed by this board to be voted into that position so that I could step out of my lane, because I really think we should all, as supervisors and as elected officials, we should be staying in our lane, or whatever that elected lane is. However, I had that unique opportunity to spend it as the temporary county manager. So from January to June, I spent my 40 hours a week volunteering. I made 150 plus journal entries in preparation for the auditors. The audit findings got reduced from 4 findings down to 2 for 2024. And I didn't start this till January of 2025, taking care of 2024's journal entries. Employees got trained, and I know I received thanks from several of the employees. I think it was appreciated. I also, when I was done with that June time, offered any kind of transition that people wanted in doing the 2025 journal entries. I've heard very little from people. At this point, like Kurt, I'm not willing to do another stint as a volunteer, stepping out of my lane as a supervisor. It is my opinion, just like I said, back in my monthly county manager reports, I saw gaps. I'm looking back at my admin coordinator report from June. Gaps in skills, resources, and organizational procedures. Audit issues, inadequate accounting knowledge, no HR resources, no HR department. The need for a procedures manual, needing to get our ordinances online, needing internal control improvements. And we have a small staff here, we all know that. But if everything's in one pot, we have the potential for a repeat of bad things happening. We need a finance director to protect us from waste, fraud, abuse, that kind of thing. Somebody who's knowledgeable about the professional rules, GAAP, GASB, the accounting rules, make sure our finances are recorded correctly so that when our auditors come here in the springtime, they don't have to do a ton of journal entries, and that we don't have to have our ongoing findings or more findings. So it is my opinion that we do need a finance director. Whether we approve one tonight and proceed with one tonight makes no difference. I think we still need to have it in the back of our minds that we need to at some point in time, because the need is still going to be there. The other thing that came to mind as you were talking, Kurt, is we started the performance appraisal process last year at this time, and everyone here works for the committees of this board. So these committees need to get those performance appraisals done. So that's another thought that we need to keep this all going. That's why we need the department heads and administration to keep things going in our county. Now, whether we end up hiring a consultant or having a finance director, again, I'll summarize by saying the need for finance and accounting expertise is a definite need here in Iron County, in my opinion, as a CPA.
Thank you, Roxanne. Rick Bolles.
It's been a long 2 years, Kurt, Roxanne, Murph. We've come a long way. We're in the right direction. I believe we need the finance director as well. Jay's an asset. I think we need to go in that direction. I'm unaware of the toxic environment. I can't speak on that. Look at the guidance of the members to point in the right direction for that. But I do know that we are in the right direction, far cry better than we were 2 years ago. We don't need to lose momentum.
Thank you, Karen.
I also agree that we need a finance director. We were heading down a very dark road 2.5 years ago. And if it hadn't been for Kurt's observation, we would have been in big trouble in this county. And we don't have the expertise here to do that work. We don't have the knowledgeable staff members that can function as a CPA. We really need that expertise This is, yeah, it's a small county, but we still have a huge budget. We have a huge financial responsibility to the citizens of our county. We are responsible to the citizens of our county to make sure we stay up, at least afloat. And we need that expertise to provide that support to this county. I can't even imagine functioning without having that kind of financial support. I'm actually sad right now.
Carl.
Feel the same way. We've come out of this hole the last 2 years because we've had a financial director on the county board in 2 different situations between Roxanne and Kurt. With our staff that we have and them working as a financial director for the last 18 months, that's how we got out of the hole. That's how we're growing in the right direction. And we don't have the staff to be able to handle what we've done in the past, but with the help of what they've been doing is the only reason we've come as far as we have.
Coach.
Yeah, I think it's been a long discussion, starting with the county manager position, and it was, we got a good guy in Jay, I really do, because I was in the interviews with some of the other people, and I think it's probably a prudent move when we had the vote to advertise for the finance director. It should have told everybody at 6 to 7 just to advertise it. It was going to be a tough sell, especially when we're already paying one salary to add to. It's probably a good idea right now to tap the brakes and let the election sort it out in the spring.
Pat. Dougie.
I agree. We have to break on this and give Jay and department head just a chance and to go.
Right.
Can't think of what's net block, say things like that, what's going out the window? Things have been found, what haven't been found. Sure, we can give it a try, step up, different saying they will. But then what happens? I don't know, we have talked a long time. Sure. Step with the risk. What a different conversation this would have been had we not gotten what would the conversation be? And beforehand, I think we were still talking about something like finance director, and we were just going to have to make it work. That person was going to have to figure out a way to pay for him or herself.
Bill.
I agree with you. We do need a finance director. We can't expect a board member to do the budget every year. He's not going to be around forever. There are other things. In fact, this is my last term. Been on this county board for 20 years. A lot of things have changed. I think we do need a finance director.
Amy.
Oh. I want to take her. I can't imagine something. I agree with.
Mario.
I want to echo Jamie's first sentiment in terms of thanking Kurt and Roxanne, all your hard work. All you would be in dire straits. I also want to say if we choose to postpone hiring a finance director, there should be a set time frame to evaluate whether or not the alternative chosen is actually working, or if we start following that. there needs to be accountability. Or, well, it's just,
Paul Muller.
Yes, I want to thank Kurt and Roxanne too. I wish that they would stay on 6 months and work with the county, see if we could save some money from getting finance director. I agree, we need help. If we could get it, we could charge something, come in once a month or whatever, and keep it going. And yes, we need help. And I do want to thank you both.
And I guess I'll see what I had to say. I kind of agree. First, I want to thank this whole board, because since I took this gavel, I told you today, when all of us don't know everything, but all of us know a little something that we went on our way. Stuff that we know. Right now, Kurt and Roxanne, yeah, this is financial, but that doesn't take away Carl and them do down at Highway, and Coach does at Forestry, and Dougie and the Crowleys are great at what you do. Crowleys. And I want to thank him for doing this part too. I think, you know, I talked right now, if it was a car thing, I talked to Carl. Right now, the chairman of the finance is telling me to pump the brakes, Mark, pivot. Same pivot. And I'm not going to question him because he got me this far. It was fine when Kurt was doing it, when Kurt's been basically our CPA for 22 months, and we ain't been paying him. We all liked it. Now he's had enough. I can't say he's had enough, but he wants to do other things. He wants to do what I'm doing and just nothing. He's around and like, Carl told me to do something fun to do. So, yeah. I think maybe that's the right thing. Let's pivot here. Let's check it up. Some of these people in the department at meeting are telling me they can do it. You know, I'm not going to tell anybody they can't do nothing. Tell me I can't do something. You know, all of us. So Jay, I'm with Scott. He is very good. Kurt, yeah, I see Jay every day. I work with Jay every day with their conference with Jay. Jay's gonna do this county good, especially in the IT part of this thing. He's perfect. We're coming out of the Stone Age, and he's gonna take us out of this. This is what his forte was. Yeah, he has a little bit to do with financial stuff, but his forte is his processing, getting rid of this paper. Everything's gonna help the department heads, and he can help Kristen too, and Sarah and Kathy, and they all told me that they can do it. So I say we check up.
I think you still need to put a deadline for assessment. Because
I think you'll assess it every month. Every month you'll be in the finance committee. I'm gonna tell you, here are the 4 things I would be doing as your finance director. But here are the 4 things I'm not gonna be doing as your finance director this time. And you hand it off, and either it's gonna be done by the part-time consultant, if that's what the plan is, or Kristen, or Jay, or somebody else, Paul, if that's what it is.
We have those on the finance agenda then, those items?
I think this is your finance agenda for 2 weeks from today. Because some of these things are very time sensitive. And you know as well as I do, because you've done it just like I have. Next month there'll be 4 other, next month there'll be 4 other, and next month there'll be 6 other. And employees should do it, and not board members. Board members should be setting policy. What we've done is way atypical, as I said, but it was done because we were in a financial crisis.
We still are, but I mean,
It's stabilized. We're not in a crisis. It's stabilized. It works. There's a structure that you have to work on. You just can't say, here's where we're at. Now it's going to just work. You have to work this thing. You got to be working projections and figuring out ahead of time what's going to happen. My previous line of work, I spent more time on projection in the future than I did on the current. You had to head off where the problems are. That's not what happens here. But it needs to happen because there are some, I'm telling you, big things coming up. Not far away.
Yeah,
They're not far away.
And then the last thing I'd like to say, we're talking about this her office, like Shane even here, Kristen, talk to me. You
Well,
and
I
your
was not
staff?
in the department head meeting,
Okay, no, you weren't, because you were gone yet, but it was. but it
and I
was-
appreciate everybody sticking up for me. And yes, there are things I can do and there are things that I cannot do.
You told me that.
Yes, after the last meeting though, I went home and I thought long and hard about it and I don't want anything to do with it. If the stress, the nitpicking, I'm not gonna go through it. So you gotta find someone else that's gonna. You guys had decided without me, without talking to me, which you had small conversations with me, but only in the fact of, we're gonna pull everything out of your office. And that's stuff I've asked you for months. What exactly is gonna be my role? What is my role now? And I appreciate them doing everything that they've done, Mark. And I've said that to both of you. But no one has addressed anything as what my role is now, what is it going forward? What would you like me to do? What would you like me to learn? Nothing. So I've had no guidance, no questions, no answers, no nothing. So
I was getting to you, I don't know the answer to what your new role would have been. Me and Jay were working on it.
John, I'll do
You
what
have-
my
you-
statutory job is.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yes, your statute, that's the deal, is that me and Jay were going through a statutory, you had to do it.
And nothing against Jay,
One
but
new rules.
that individual back there was right when you guys were going to hire just the county manager. I don't think any of us disagreed with we needed that help. And it's like, as far as the toxic environment, I think everybody's upset because we've been strung around for months and not knowing what's going on in each department. So it's not necessarily a toxic environment, it's just that we're all upset of what's going on and no one's come forward and said, hey, this is what we're doing. There's been no decisions made, no conversations with anybody. I think if you guys would have went about this in a different way where you included and we had conversations, not saying that we had to make those decisions, but just let everybody know what was going on and have us in those conversations, there wouldn't be any issues right now. No one would be upset. We're your employees. We're here on a daily basis, working with each other, with the electors, and we know nothing. We know nothing what's going on. It's just, oh, you're moving, you're not doing this, and
But we just checked everything up, we just checked it all up.
I think we all feel somewhat the same way. I can't speak for them. Just in conversations that we've had. Because we all do work well together and we all get along. Despite illness.
Okay, so we heard from her, so what do you guys want to do?
You know, something that
Go ahead, Paul.
really ticked me off at the last meeting. 2 minutes before the meeting, you come up and gave us this, where the people are gonna be moving, everything. I never heard of it before.
I just explained that to you, Paul.
I know,
gave you
but
that.
did you explain to everybody?
Yeah, I did, but no one was getting it until I put it on.
And everybody
the
was
paper.
upset at the meeting the other day, but you told me.
You know how many times I
Most
come
of
in
them
there?
told me.
You know how many times I come in UW
You talked to
extension?
me once.
Okay, but like, come on.
I heard conversations from multiple people around me that it was happening, but you came and talked to me once.
I talked to most of these people.
Yeah.
They all were complaining.
At the department head meeting in June, I brought it up, if they do that, some people are gonna have to move. Till I put it on paper, but when I handed you that paper, Paul, I also said, this ain't set in stone.
Oh, yeah, there was a reason to handle it,
So everybody
not just
got,
for me to look at it and get upset.
yeah, but I wanted everybody to see it. Then it became real. It just wasn't words floating around.
To add something here. What I'm observing is that we don't have a leader of the county. You're acting as the leader of the county. Jay is the administrative coordinator. The people that report to him are child support, IT, and facilities. Okay, you're not the county administrator. You're the admin coordinator, which is a much narrower role. So what it seems we're lacking is anybody who's leading this organization. We don't have, I used to work for technical colleges, and they have boards just like this. We don't have a president, anybody who's bringing you guys all together as employees. You're
Well, we
all
have the
separate
department head
silos. And what Murph was trying to do is to try to organize something, because a finance director would be an overall position in this Department of Administration that's leading the county. And what we're lacking is that top leader with authority to be able to do these things. And
When I took over, the first thing I did was have department head meetings. Once a month, we have a department head meeting.
so you're acting as that president of the county, so to speak, you're the chair. And so those department head meetings were all of your opportunities, and you've had those for over a year now, more. The opportunities for, and I sat in several of them until I was done with my interim county manager thing. So that's your opportunity as employees to talk with the person who's leading. Maybe there's a different alternative we need, Murph, you know, do we need a separate executive committee if we're gonna continue with this style of county government where we, the committees, are leading?
Part of the board is the committees are to dictate, dictate policy.
Right.
Commissioners will listen.
But these department heads here report to whoever the committees are among us.
We're getting our
Change
task.
every 2 years, yes,
We gotta decide what we're doing.
yes.
You need a motion on the floor. Let's pump the brakes on this, give it to them.
What's the motion?
Well, it sounds there is no motion, somebody's gotta make a motion, of what you wanna do.
Don't have a motion. We don't have a motion.
We got nothing. Somebody even makes a motion to be drive in for a certain amount of time or something, so everybody's happy, is that what you wanna do?
You just heard that they're not willing. Kristen's not willing, I don't know if the other ones, I think Clara had indicated she would help. I mean, if they're not willing to do this job, then we can't make the motion.
I don't do budgets, I'm a tax collector.
I think we move ahead and still have a vote on the finance director. I don't want to see what we've done in 2.5 years go down the window, out the door. I mean, that's really what we're asking right now. Make a motion that we hire a finance director. What's that second? I'm making that motion.
Karen got a motion on the floor to be your finance director. There's a second.
I think a lot's happened in the last week. 1 week ago, we had an alternative option that employees were more than now it's got full policy. I think we got.
We'll table this to a later date. All we can do is table this for now.
She has to rescind her motion and
Then
we're
you
going
gotta
to do
rescind
that. Or fail,
There was a
declare that
second.
it's failed for lack of a second. and then
Motion
move on.
failed for lack of a second.
Okay. And I will make a motion that we add this as an agenda item to
Before
the
at the end
next
of the month.
meeting.
Got a motion on the floor to be added to the end of the month board meeting. Do I have a second? Seconded by Roy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
So,
Whoa. One more. Motion carries. Okay, discuss action to accept the
We need to do a roll call on that one.
You wanna do a roll call? We
Yeah.
spend money, you wanna make a roll call? Wait, Kristen.
Hager,
Yes.
Schwartz, Straw,
Yes.
Hanson,
no.
Erickson,
No.
Bose,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Luchin,
Yes.
Hiller,
Yes.
Wolf, Muller,
No.
Moretti,
Yes.
Francis,
Yes, I'm in favor.
Young,
Yes.
Thomas.
Oh.
Okay. Moving to number 10, discussion action to accept the 2026 budget, move to public hearing and approval.
I don't know what you do there, Murph, you get the finance director in that budget right now.
Yeah. We can't really approve this.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, move it. But it's gonna go, we're supposed to go in the paper for Friday.
It already did.
Yeah.
So went in the paper like this, we're gonna have to amend it.
Then we'll have to
At
make,
the October 20th, at the October 20th meeting.
Yeah.
We can get coach at the finance meeting.
Yep, all right.
Something back.
Yes,
The budget has not been published in the minor yet. You go to press in the wee hours tomorrow morning. It could be pulled out if need be. I'm just letting you know.
I don't think so, because you're not gonna be here early November, I'm not gonna be here unless somebody else can run that.
okay. Kristen said to leave it.
They're gonna have that meeting.
We need to change that finance and amend it after.
Does it really matter, the amount of money that is in for the finance director, whether or not we hire a finance director? There is going to be a need for some consulting help or something with finance, so the money will.
Your bottom lines won't change, it's just for your dollar amounts.
I don't see a problem with approving the budget as a whole. Yes, it has something earmarked for finance director that we would vote to change to something else. Consulting or whatever, although we investigation.
I would make the motion to approve it, and knowing that we have to make some adjustments to it at the end of the month. We're gonna have to do that. At a deadline. I think that Kristen said, like.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor to approve the budget.
A second.
Second by Roxanne. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next meeting will be the public hearing in the county board meeting, October 28, 2025. Meeting adjourned.
Yes. Thank you again for this. No, I did, like, here.
Put that back in your house.
Like a membership form, we've got to, if you want to become a member on our website, butterfly.com.
I do.
I was looking for